bro, I'm low-key faded, bro.
Highway.
What's this guy supposed to be, the ultimate badass?
They ain't ready. They ain't ready, Jim. They ain't ready. Here we go.
I'm gonna go out here, guys.
What is it? You ain't Mexican. What is that?
Kind of looks a little bit though, so I dig a little deep in there, right? But yeah, we got that. You did that.
He's in the building.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Frisco Report. It's Big News Tuesday. Mike, Black Monday happened, and now the fallout, and we got the biggest news of the day. Eberflus is out. What's your thoughts, bro? Let's hit the ground running, bro.
It's a good day to hear good things, all right? That just set the tone. Obviously, you didn't hear anything on quote-unquote Black Monday. It's Tuesday, all right? Technically, it was Black Tuesday after everything that's happened today. But, it needed to be done. I mean, there's no questions asked. When Jerry said 10 to 12 days, a part of you wants to believe him because that's typical Jerry fashion, you know? And I was just thinking, man, we're going to miss out on great candidates. I mean, did he not? I mean, that's how we winded up with Brian Schottenheimer because we waited too long to do anything. So for them to have this done 2 days after the regular season, Jerry has the apron on and he's ready to cook. He's not cooking yet, but he's ready to cook.
I want me some glory hole.
It's going down, bro. It's going totally down, bro. So, yeah, it had to happen. I'm glad. Well, here's the thing about it, right? So we knew the announcement was hopefully going to come first. Now, that 10 to 12 days shit, that still could happen as far as like an announcement, as far as like who the hiring is. You know what I mean? That part, maybe that's what he was talking about. And maybe us as fans thought, like, dude, better not take 10 to 12 days to fire this guy. You know what I mean? Now, the actual hiring process, there is a process, right? So virtual interviews, interview in person by the 20th, it should be zoned in. You know, some names are going to start coming out, Mike, as far as like who's being interviewed, who they're going to bring in to be interviewed. Once you get that in-person interview, it's like anything else. You get that in-person interview, it's looking good, right? So we'll see how this progresses, you know. But what a day of days, bro. Yeah, that had to be done, bro. I mean, 500 and something points allowed, the most in franchise history. Worse than the Campo era, 5-11, 3 in a row. Worse than Jimmy Johnson's premier year in the NFL, 1989. Worse than Tom Landry's final years, 88, 87. I mean, terrible. I mean, one of the worst defense coordinators we've ever had, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, it's not good. So just to give you some key timelines and rules here on this interviewing process, you're not going to hear anything for probably the next 4 weeks, right? So post week 18, initial virtual interviews, like Joe was saying, begins for coaches whose teams are out of the playoffs or have a bye. So the number one seeds, coaches, they could be interviewed now. Teams that are already eliminated from the playoffs, the Cowboys can get permission from them teams to do virtual interviews. All right. After the divisional round, that's late January, Teams still in the playoffs can conduct virtual interviews with candidates that are not on their staff, but must finish these before the conference championship game. Okay. And then after that, through February 1, the Super Bowl week, coaches on Super Bowl teams can interview with other teams. After the Super Bowl, all restrictions are lifted. Coaches on Super Bowl teams can be hired. So it ain't going to be, one of these, in 2 weeks we're going to have something. We won't see anything till probably February, Joe.
Yeah, it definitely is going to take a little bit of time here. It's going to be exciting once the names start trickling in. The interest will be fast and furious, and then fans will be clamoring as far as like, we got to get this guy in here. The defensive coordinator probably won't be hired in time for the Senior Bowl. Yeah, it could be close, but we'll see. But probably most likely not. Eberflus was officially hired after the Senior Bowl, so last year. So we'll see what happens there. Shout out your boy Mike, 8 months of membership. That's awesome, bro. Along with that, I really hope we don't get White Cotton or Joe Witt Jr., bro. I'm with you right there. Let White Cotton remain there, I guess, as your D-line coach. I'm on board as far as like whoever the new guy is. Let him bring in his guys. You know what I mean? I cannot stand how the Cowboys have to have remnants of previous staffs that they just linger here. You know what I mean? It's like they can never have a full clean house, Mike. So yeah, I'm with you on the White Cotton. Joe Wood Jr. Yeah, I'm cool on that. I'm not really with that, Mike. What's your thought on these?
I made up my mind today on White Cotton. I want him gone. There was no disruption on the pass rush. Donovan Ezeraku, 2 sacks. Clowney, 6 sacks. Outside of that, nothing. Osa stepped back. Kenny Clark wasn't that dog that we've seen over there with the Green Bay Packers. Quentin Williams wasn't the dog that we thought he made a difference in a couple of games, but it wasn't consistent. You look at the development of Sam Williams coming off the injury, non-existent. I'm not impressed with Aaron White Cotton by any means. There was zero, wow, Aaron Cotton did this.
Mm-hmm.
There was none of that. I hope this defensive coordinator lets everybody go. The corners took a step back. The safeties took a step back. The linebackers, they were all new. They didn't look great. And that D-line with Aaron White Cotton took a step back from me, Joe. There is nothing on this defensive coaching staff that should stay for me.
Absolutely, bro. I agree 1,000%, bro. It needs to be a full cleaning of the house. And that's it, man. You know what I mean? I don't want to force any of these dudes on anybody, man, because they're not their dudes. They're not their guys. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I appreciate that. We appreciate that. Your boy Mike, appreciate that. Let's get right into it. Let's get into the names, all right? We got a few names that we're going to talk about here, Mike, and of course there'll be some others, but let's go ahead and run it here on the ticker. As you've heard, Brian Flores has not re-signed with the Vikings yet, but there is rumblings that Tom Brady is going in hot and heavy for Brian Flores. So they have the Patriot connection there, obviously, and I think he's going to want to bring in his man there for the Raiders, Brian Flores. So unless something doesn't go right there, if the numbers don't work out or whatever it is, Flores is probably not going to be on the table. So don't want to focus in just on Flores. I know a lot of fans are, Flores, that's it. You know what I mean? The other names, Mike. Jim Schwartz. Let's talk about him, Mike. What's your thoughts on Jim Schwartz possibly being available? The Browns are going to interview the Englishman, Dirty, all right? Former Cowboy D-line coach, whatever the hell he was, the Englishman. So maybe that means Schwartz is going to be out possibly. So what's your thought on Jim Schwartz possibly being here?
Yeah, the Browns, or from what I've been reading and hearing, the Browns organization is high on Jim Schwartz and wants him to stay. They want that to be a carryover, with whatever head coach There is he might interview for that Browns head coaching job and he could get it, but from what I understand, almost like the Brian Flores situation, Jim Shorts, the Browns want to keep him there, and they have, I think they have those rights unless they release him.
That is true. He is still technically under contract, I guess you could say. They would like to keep him, but I don't think that they would block him from leaving. Is kind of the vibe I'm getting from that. So it would be a great selection here for the Cowboys if that were to happen. 1980 in the house with the eyes. Good to see you in the chat box, bro. Good
That's
to see
my dog right there.
Everybody in the chat box. We do appreciate
Space Cowboy in there as well.
Space Cowboy in the house, dude. One of the greatest that's ever done it. Long time friend here of the show. To be honest, Nick Sorensen needs to go as well. This special teams unit was trash. Yeah, that should be that should have been hand in hand with Eberflus. You know what I mean? I totally agree. He's got to go, bro. That was terrible. I wouldn't even mind bringing back Fossil, right? Because the Titans, they're moving on. So is he available? I mean, pretty much anybody is better than Nick Sorensen. Mike, what you think about that there?
Yeah, no, Bones Fossil, the Cowboys wanted him to stay. He chose to leave. So does he make that transition back to Dallas? Does Dallas want him? Is there some sour there? But that special teams unit was terrible. I mean, Brandon Aubrey missing kicks towards the end of the season. Kavontae Turpin, yet another year of kick return and punt return touchdowns being non-existent. You had horrible coverage during the Lions game, horrible coverage throughout the season. Matter of fact, too many special team penalties. When Turpin would have a good run, it got called back due to penalties. So they have to clean this up on both sides of the ball, or all three phases, really. But special teams and defense was atrocious, and they got to do better. But I'm on board with Space here. Give me another special teams coordinator here, and hopefully Schottenheimer really evaluates that. If he don't, he's fooling himself.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, he's got to go, dude. He's got to be next on the chopping block, as they say. He's got to go. He definitely's got to go. The boy Mike on Super Chat. I really hope we don't rush this hiring process. Jim Leonard is my most preferred option as a defensive coordinator. He's a young-minded coach who could really bring some swagger to the coaching staff. Mike, what's your thoughts on that, bro?
Yeah, Jim Leonard, had that success with the Broncos as of late. That defense was clicking in all cylinders. Their offense, as we know, with Bo Nix, it kind of, it's up and down on the offense, but the most consistent piece has been the defense. You bring a Nick Fangio type of defense here to Dallas. I think that's beneficial. That's very beneficial. A different mind. He's young. He's up and coming. I think, being the defensive passing game coordinator, he has to study film on offenses and stuff and really get the gist of that. It all depends on his scheme, and it all depends on what type of staff he brings in. Because if you look at our talent, Joe, you need real coaches for this talent that we have. It's not very good. So you can bring in the good names, but how do you, like the Bears, they brought in 6 different players, right, to help that defense out. The new guy, does he do that? Does Jerry let him do that? And number 2, can he coach guys like Ezra Raku and Shamir James and some of these younger guys that we have here with Siobhan Revel? How does that coincide with it? Just because the name sounds good, what does his coaching tree look like to come in here and coach these younger cats? Because that could either make or break them.
Yeah, the Jim Leonard one is liked by a lot of fans because of just the thought of getting somebody from Sean Payton's coaching staff, right? I mean, you're gonna get somebody solid. Vance Joseph, obviously, he is the current defensive coordinator of the Broncos, and he's good, but that's his ceiling. He's a defensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. So I know he's getting some interviews, but I think he's a better defensive coordinator. But Leonard has college credentials as well, coming out of Wisconsin, the Big Ten. So very familiar with needing good linebackers to stop the run. The Big Ten is all about heavy, big Bohemian linemen and the running game, right? So I like that about him. You know what I mean? He's very hip to that. That's something that the Cowboys need. Bolster that D line and get the linebackers going. I think Leonard would fit perfect. And being young, I think that also helps bring in that swagger factor as well. Appreciate that super chat, your boy Mike. Appreciate you, bro. The dark horse here for me, one that isn't really being talked about, and that is, and that's going to be the second name here on the ticker, Mike Pettin. All right, Mike Pettin has a history here with Schottenheimer as a defensive coordinator when they were there with the Jets, right? So it was Mangini as the head coach. That's why he's also on those lists, although probably not likely. I think he's pretty much retired. But it is Eric Mangini, Schottenheimer, and then Mike Pettin was that defensive coordinator. Coincidentally, he is a top-tier type of defensive coordinator. He's also been a former head coach. Cowboys like to bring in former head coach for the defensive coordinator positions. The last few defensive coordinators the Cowboys have all had head coaching experience, right? Going back to Marinelli, Nolan, all these dudes, right? So it's going to be something to really watch there, but he is a name to watch. He's currently the assistant coach, linebacker coach for the Vikings under Brian Flores. So you want somebody who has a lot of experience and has seen a lot of different types of schemes. Mike Pettin is a name to keep an eye on there. The connection there was shoddy, and then the defensive prowess that he has there.
Yeah, Joe, you said a lot of good things. One of the things that scare me, when Dan Quinn came in, he had some success in Atlanta, went to the Super Bowl and had the biggest choke ever, but he had success, right? And he had success with Seattle. Mike Pettin, his success has been up and down, all right? Not very consistent. 10-22 as a Browns head coach, got fired after a couple of seasons. Really haven't been promoted in the league since his head coaching tenure. I'm a little skittish on that hire. I don't know if I can buy in to Mike Pettin just yet, just because I haven't seen enough success for me to say yes. Because with Matt Eberflus, I bought into that. All right, I did. I'm guilty as charged, and I'm not going to do that again. All right, Matt Eberflus had a little bit of success with the Colts, but it wasn't enough. All right, got the head coaching job and completely flopped. Mike Pettin, to me, could have that same track record as Matt Eberflus.
Gus Bradley, the connection here, as far as sticking with continuity, he is a Dan Quinn disciple. So if you want to bring this defense back to something familiar, something that worked for the Cowboys, Dan Quinn, right? You look at a Gus Bradley type of hire right now. He's with the 49ers. He is on this list, possibly another name to keep an eye on there. Gus Bradley might kind of been around the league here as well. Had a head coaching opportunity as well along the way. So, again, another name that the Cowboys would consider because of the previous head coaching experience. So, think about Gus Bradley, Mike.
3 years, 3 teams, all right? A journeyman. Not a consistent name for me. I get the connection with Dan Quinn. I don't know, man. It's like with Mike Pettin, I think. I don't think he has enough skins on the wall for me, bro.
Osa and Bland fell off completely. That's a fact. Bland is starting to be injury prone to me, Mike. So not only did these guys, all of them fell a couple steps back, but now your defensive coordinator, whoever's coming in here, is getting some injured dudes. How much is he going to be able to elevate some of these players? You know what I'm saying? Like, you've got people that are kind of already kind of in their way, like Osa. Can he be coached up more? Can you teach an old dog new tricks?
Yeah, Osa's technique isn't very good. He don't have a lot of tools in the toolbox, and I think that was exposed this year, especially way before we got Quinnen Williams. Before that, he had 1 sack. Quinnen Williams comes in here, he gets his 2nd sack. But how do you teach him different techniques? I'm hoping Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark takes him under the wing this offseason and teaches them something out of the toolbox. DeMarcus Ware, taught Tyron Smith some things. Tyron Smith taught DeMarcus Lawrence things. We need some trickle down coaching from the players on player coaching to kind of help, get his toolbox going. I just don't think he has enough there. Different. I mean, he just don't have any pass rushing moves, and he doesn't know how to get off blocks. He don't know a lot of things, and that really got exposed this year. And I'm hoping these guys take him under the wing and teach him something because he needs it very badly.
That's right. Mike, and some other names are starting to become available. You think about other guys defensively, though, right? So, I mean, and we know Stefanski got let go, but he's more of your offensive kind of guy. And we'll talk about Harbaugh a little bit later. But we're talking about somebody like Jonathan Gannon, former Eagles, Super Bowl winning coordinator type of dude, right? I think he was involved in their playoff runs there. Jonathan Gannon. It's kind of how he earned his way into the Cardinals, but 3 and done for him. Cardinals said they saw enough of this. They hit the eject button on him, bro. So what's your thought? Any interest there at all on Jonathan Gannon, a younger coach? Any interest there for Jonathan Gannon?
No, not at all. I think that Eagles defense was very talented. I think they had the right pieces in place. I don't think that was coaching. I think that was talent. Right? It's the opposite of what the Cowboys have. They had the playmakers. They had the talent. We have the players. We have to develop the talent. Right? That's the difference between the two. And you look at his track record with Arizona. Yeah, they knocked the snot out of us, but they didn't win a game after they beat us. So it's like, how do you handle the success, number one, and how do you develop your players? And I don't think he did a very good job of that, and that's why Cardinals kicked him to the can to bring somebody else in, because they didn't see that he can develop, he could be consistent, and he could be thorough in his game planning. And I'm not a big Gannon fan, and he should be nowhere near this franchise.
Yeah, Gannon and follows that kind of prerequisite for the Cowboys, former head coach, right? So, but I don't know. I don't see the connection there. And the Cowboys, they would have to kind of step out of their comfort zone. There's really no connection except he was a former head coach. Now, he is very familiar with the division, so I think that kind of makes him kind of interested for the Cowboys as far as like, okay, Jonathan Gannon knows the opponents very well. He knows the Eagles, obviously, Giants, Washington, this sorts of thing, and maybe he can even help out your offense and say, hey, this is how we were able to slow you down, beat the shit out of you. So, maybe he helps in this sorts of way, bring in some outside the box ideas and help even, innovate this offense a little bit. You know what I mean? I mean, we're a top offense, but we were still slowed down at times with some of the better teams. The better coach teams were still able to put it to us. You know what I mean? It's always about who's the bigger bully. And when the Cowboys faced the bigger bully, that offense kind of disappeared. They couldn't hold up. So I think there's something there to Gannon, but I don't think for me, he's not high on my list, but he is somebody to talk about. Mike Clint hurt. an up and coming dude here, Mike. This is name's kind of been floated around here recently. What's your thought on Clint Hurt?
Yeah, coaching up the Eagles defensive line, and that could help the Cowboys, right? I don't know the scheme or what experiences he has outside of coaching the D line for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I know when we talked about this earlier, like a couple of weeks ago, there was the Chris Richard. He was linked to Pete Carroll, the kind of that doomsday Dan Quinn ties, stuff like that. So, that's kind of the scheme that kind of fits what the Cowboys is. Can he run man? Does he understand that he needs to run man? That's the biggest key. Can Clint Hurt come in here and do that? That's to be honest with you, dude, if you look at the connection from coach to player, the Dallas Cowboys have done a terrible job drafting crybabies, right? And what I mean by that is these players need some type of connection in order to feel successful. Tyler Guyton, he always has his head down when he gets beat up. Mozzie Smith was the same way. Every time he got beat up, he wore the weight of the world on his shoulders. We need to get some of these players in here that are grown men. So you have to, not only because we don't have grown men defensive players. I mean, that's why Diggs and Eberflus didn't get along, because Eberflus wouldn't cater to Diggs' feelings. So how do you get the connection to match with the sissified roster that you have now currently, right? Because we have too many players wanting to be coddled. So how do you get that coach in here to do that? Can Clint Hurt do that? Because they got some dogs in Philly. As much as I hate Philly, they got dogs. Can Clint Hurt come in here and change the mentality of this franchise on the defense side of the ball? To be determined.
It is to be determined. And we'll see where this goes. The Cowboys, they do have to follow the Rooney Rule here, obviously, as well. So they're going to have to interview various types of coordinators. Whether you might see some names and you'll be like, what the hell? Maybe you see Marvin Lewis again interview. Maybe Leslie Frazier or like Ron Rivera, right? Even these types of dudes, just to hit the check box. But some of those candidates won't be realistic to me, right? You got some that haven't coached in a while. They're kind of older as well. But that's one there. Another dark horse, Mike. Wade Phillips, former head coach as well, Cowboys, the connection there. The Schottenheimer tree connection again, okay? So coached there with his dad there with the Chargers, Brian Schottenheimer there as well. So there's familiarity there with the Phillips family. Any thoughts on would that be a viable option, or that probably won't happen?
You might as well hire Monty Kiffin while you're at it. How old is Wade Phillips? The dude's 78 years old. No, thank you.
Yeah, and I don't think it'd be worse than Monty Kiffin. Monty Kiffin was a disaster.
No, thank you. I don't need a 78-year-old coach.
Yeah, 3-4. But that's the other question to this. Are they going to stick with the 4-3? I want to see if the discussions drag on a little bit, I think that's going to be in play, or somebody that has some sort of hybrid type of system. That's why, I really like Jim Leonard, bro, because he does that, right? They run a hybrid there with the Broncos. Sean Payton, Parcells tree. You gotta love it, bro. So deep down inside, from what has been happening, for me, if it's not Jim Schwartz, I want Jim Leonard. Those are my two main guys that I'm really focusing on, Mike. Who are the guys that you yourself are kind of focusing on as far as this would be the guy?
Joe, and I might get a lot of heat for this, but I mean it. I do mean this. Leonard is number one, all right? Brian Flores, if somehow the Cowboys can work that magic, that's number two. I'm going to give you a name that no one's talking about. If I'm Brian Schottenheimer, I'm picking up the phone. I'm calling Michigan. I'm going to be talking to Don Martindale. All right, hear me out. Hear me out. He had success with the Ravens. He had success with the as recently with the Giants, right? When I talked to Giant fans and what they told me was their D line has been terrible since Martindale left, right? So if he can come in here and run this defense and get these guys going, right? I think Don Martindale is on my top 3 watch list to come in here and be a defensive coordinator. His mentality, the way he goes about his defense, he's a blitz crazy coach. We need pressure on the quarterback. I'm all for that. I think Wink Martindale could come in here, help Osa, help these younger guys, help this D line. He's a linebacker, in 1985, so he's played the game. He knows a little something about a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two. But I think that's the guy on my top 3 outside of Flores, outside of Leonard. It's going to be Don Wink Martindale, Joe.
Very interesting indeed. Very good names across the board. Cowboys, they're in a good position here to get a good coordinator. All of these names we talked about, an upgrade over the bust Matt Eberflus. What a disaster hire that was. A wasted season, wasted talent. Terrible, bro. That was the worst move of the year, was the hiring of Matt Eberflus. What a freaking waste, bro.
And the whole time we were more nervous about Schottenheimer.
Yeah. So what a crazy deal that is. Now let's just talk about this other topic here. I saw a comment here that I wanted to bring up here. Where is it at? Let's see if I can find it. We got a lot of conversation in the chat box. I love to see that. Appreciate everybody. Oh, here we go.
If we can get 5 people to click like for us real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you. Just click like for the show. Helps us greatly. You're listening to the Frisco Report with Joe, Rod, and Mike. That's
right. Appreciate that. Let's talk about this here, Mike. This comes from VTPSTTU. All right.
Yes, sir.
Long-time subscriber of the channels. Have we transitioned to the point of discussing hiring Harbaugh as the head coach and letting him pick the rest of his staff? Very interesting indeed. I jokingly said it on Twitter, and it flew over a couple people's heads. They thought I was talking about bringing him in as a coordinator, and I was like, no, man. Why? I'm talking about head coach, bro. Cowboys probably wouldn't do it, but there is reports out that there are teams that currently have head coaches have reached out. So who are those teams? Are the Cowboys one of them? Damn it, dude. I love the intrigue, bro, because would you be interested in that, Mike?
1,000%. 1,000%. I think John Harbaugh coming in here, that you want to change something. I think it's a way level up from what we've seen. I mean, this is a Jimmy Johnson type hire. This is a Bill Parcells type hire. This is a winning coach type hire. This is a project like Jason Garrett. This isn't a project like Schottenheimer. All right. Mm-hmm. This instantly changes the franchise, and it makes you a playoff contender team, even with the pieces you got right now, because the way he knows how to win ball games.
Facts, bro. I mean, it has to be really they have to be. I would hope that they are really thinking about that. Like, hey, I would hate to do this. We like Shotty, but this guy, we didn't think he would become available, and here he is. It would be like the thing that freak Garrett would always say, "Oh, the blinking light on McGovern." So we took him. So to me, dude, the blinking light is this dude, Harbaugh availability, and you nailed it on the head. This is a franchise. The effects would go. Yeah, it's a franchise changer, bro. You immediately become playoff ready. Every season you're going to be in the hunt. You know what I mean? And he does have Super Bowls under his belt. and he just knows how to coach, man. You know what I mean? And I think he has a good eye for talent as well. These defenses have been very consistent. Their offense, with the quarterback, they're not afraid to go after and get a new quarterback. They had a quarterback, then they drafted Lamar Jackson. I said that they were going to draft another quarterback before the Cowboys do, which was probably going to happen. I think Harbaugh was getting close to drafting another quarterback. So, I mean, can you imagine, dude? That would be a monumental shift in how the Cowboys think. You know what I mean? But I think with him floating out there, Shotty's not safe, bro.
No, and he shouldn't be. A good franchise immediately upgrades. If player acquisition is 365 days a year to get better as a roster, it should be the same thought process for the coaching staff, all right? And big shout out to my brother. He's a Giants fan. They won their game, so shout out to him for beating us week 18 and helping us go from 14 to 12 in our draft position. So thank you for that. But the franchise, if they're serious about upgrading things is on the players' side of the ball, they have to have the same mentality for coaching staff, Joe. It only makes sense, right? How do you get better? How do you get better? It starts with coaching. Why? Because coaching matters. And Harbaugh coming in here completely changes it. I might start buying cowboy gear, Jerry Jones, again, if you bring in Harbaugh. I'll get me a Harbaugh jersey with a cowboy star on it. How's that?
And that's a good point, because I guarantee you the part of this whole planning is, hey, this dude's available. Do you know how much more tickets we're going to sell, more jerseys we're going to, like that from the business side? The Joneses, they have to be thinking about, that's probably line one for them. We're going to increase the valuation of this franchise to $30 billion or some crap like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that kind of is what helped them build AT&T Stadium. They had Bill Parcells in place, and they're like, okay, we got a top-notch coach here. Let's sell this to the city of Arlington to, we fund some of this or whatever the hell they did, and they built the stadium. So, I mean, it would be, it would be a splash.
No, Joe. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's why I highlighted the comment. It would be a tsunami, Joe. Wiped out everything that Jerry Jones has ever done in his career. Insane.
It would be, bro. I mean, yeah, just the fact that note came out that teams with current head coaches were interested. Who are those teams? And the Cowboys, one of them. Gosh, dude, I want to know. Bro.
And there's some secrecy in the Cowboys organization. When the Joneses keep information tight, it don't get out, Joe. It don't get out at all. Like, that's why Brian Schottenheimer was such a blindside, because we got word that he was interviewed, but we didn't get the word that they really liked him until after he was hired. So they know how to keep that circle tight. That's the only thing they really do right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that's going to be I think that might be the next discussion. If it doesn't pick up tonight, tomorrow that might pick up, because this is fresh off the press, right? They just happened a little bit earlier today. Harbaugh, let go. Incredible news. You know what I mean? Now, does Harbaugh want to take a year off and let everything sink in, or does he want to immediately jump into the fire and keep going? That's going to be the other part of it, right, Mike?
Yeah, no, and I think he could, and I think Harbaugh's the type of coach that can handle Dallas, right, and handle what Dallas is because of his experience, his skins on the wall. 18 years with the Ravens, having that success that he had. I think you can come into Dallas and really build some coach. Now, they might rub players the wrong way. It might rub Dak the wrong way. Oh, well, go let Harbaugh go get his guy. Let Harbaugh build his offense up, right? If that rubs Dak the wrong way, oh, well. We got the coach that can set the tone, and that will do it right there.
And that would really be a shame if that was one of the pros and cons when the Joneses, possibly discussed this as far as like, would he be a fit for Dak? Dude, it's not. It's got to be a fit for the franchise. And we're talking moving forward. Dak's not going to be here that many more years. So your coach can be here for many years. I mean, we kept Garrett here like 10 years, right? I mean, if we had Harbaugh for 10 years, I would think we would at least hit a championship game or two.
Championship game, 100%. 100%. You would have done it in 2014, and you would have done it 2016, 21, 22, and 23.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very interesting discussion indeed, man. But that's where we're at on the potential head coaches. Defensive coordinators, right? So we'll see what happens there. But I wonder if they hit the pause button and say, wait a minute, Harbaugh.
If they truly believe player acquisition is 365 days to get your roster better, it has to be the same slogan for the coaching staff. It just has to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely could be. He's gonna make some big time money. Vegas, who said this here? I wouldn't rule out Las Vegas getting John Harbaugh. Yeah, all these franchises are going to want him. The Browns, all these franchises are in. Like whoever doesn't have a coach, and as reported, some that have coaches wouldn't mind bringing him in. So
yes, he did in 2012. Yeah, Wink did coach with Harbaugh in 2012. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's that. That's what it is, bro. That's what it is, Mike. Well, man, great show, bro. Talked about a lot of these names. Maybe some more dark horse names come out. There's so many names out there available. Raheem Morris was another name that's out there as well. Jeff Ulrich was another name that's kind of out there. So a lot of names out there, But ultimately, let's see what this John Harbaugh stuff does. Let's see what effect it has on all these coaching searches, right, Mike? I think a lot of teams are like, wait a minute. A seismic shift, bro. It's crazy.
If I was Jerry Jones, I would have Harbaugh on my jet. We'd have a private meeting. I would say, what's the dollar amount? I don't got to interview you. What's the dollar amount?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would do.
And it really does make sense at this point of Jerry's career. I mean, he's in his 80s, dude. Like, does he have time for this whole Schottenheimer experiment? Because it is an experiment. It's another Garrett type of project, like you said, Mike. I think that was the perfect wording there. It is a project. You're trying to find a coordinator to couple with him to even see if that marriage will work. With Harbaugh, it works. It's a known commodity. You know what I mean? So, man, let's see what comes out of this.
Yeah. Jerry be like, let me show you my glory hole. Dude, they have to. I mean, if I don't care if it even rubs Schottenheimer the wrong way. They have to talk to Harbaugh. They just have to.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones can afford it. This is a big market team that brings in billions of dollars. Jerry can afford Harbaugh 10 times over. Whatever the amount is, 10 times over.
Yeah. And somebody even mentioned him possibly going to the Giants. I mean, that would be on them for not at least asking. Like, if he went to the Giants and the Giants kick your butt for another 5 years because Harbaugh's got, elevates the team. That would be on the Joneses for not at least ask, bro. If I'm them, I at least say, hey, dude, do you want to come here and coach the Dallas Cowboys?
Put a star on your hat,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If Jerry's the salesman, he gets Harbaugh for some reason, I'm telling you, I will go to a Cowboys game. I'll go to multiple Cowboy games. I'll start buying jerseys again, Cowboy shirts again. I will invest heavily into the Dallas Cowboys again. I'll even make content more.
Very interesting indeed. But that's where we're at, guys. I think it was a great show, man. Jam-packed. Talked a lot about these defensive coordinators and kind of ended it here with the speculation and speculation. Where does Hallbar land, right, Mike? So appreciate everybody in the chat box. Hit that like button, man, if you haven't already. Helps out the channel immensely. If you're watching this on the replay, pound that like button and subscribe. Mike, let everybody know where they can find you if they haven't already, bro.
Hey, yeah, appreciate the viewership tonight, guys. Make sure y'all hit like. It really helps. The algorithm helps the replay on the back end. So I appreciate all you guys in the comment section, all the OGs of OGs Uncensored, Savage, Nate Dogg, VTPSTTU, Royal, David. I mean, all you guys were active tonight in the comment section. Brando, the best moderator in the game, Darion, Knox. All you guys, appreciate it. Cowboys Corner right here on YouTube, _Cowboys Corner on Twitter. You guys give your boy a follow, and let's talk football. It is, as 1980 says, Joe, the I think season. And I think Jerry needs to hire Harbaugh.
Indeed. There we go, bro. That's all we have tonight, guys. We'll see you for the next Frisco Report. Peace out, everybody.